Hello, my name is Stacy Musial. I am a psychotherapist in Fort Collins, Colorado. I'm also the author of Your Empowered Soul, a natural pathway to healing anxiety and depression. And today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, and it's all about self-love, self-compassion, and honoring our own emotional experiences. And first, I'd like to begin with a little opening meditation to just help ground. And so I'd like to invite you, wherever you're at, just to close your eyes if it feels safe to do so, and just settle in and feel supported by whatever surface you're sitting on, whether it's a couch or a chair, the floor, maybe you're lying down. And just allow that surface to fully support your being. And you might just take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just allowing any distractions to move through you, and just breathe those out. And again, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just letting go of anything that's not serving you or keeping you present in this moment. Knowing that you can always come back to it. You're just letting it go just in this moment. Just again, breathe in through your nose. Imagine just a calming and peaceful energy moving through as you inhale, moving through all the way through your body. And then again, just breathing out any remnants of any tension or discomfort or feelings of anxiety or anything that you're holding on to in this moment. And just allow that to let go. And just when you're ready, open your eyes. And so today, I want to talk about just this whole idea of self-love, self-compassion, and honoring our emotions. I think during this whole coronavirus epidemic, pandemic, we've really had to stop our lives and slow down from the things that we're so used to, the running off and going to work and the daily grind and, this way of life that has been so unsustainable for so long. And, there's been these other epidemics that have been coming out through adrenal fatigue and burnout and, the burning the candle at two ends of the candlestick, that the rat race that so many of us have been in. And now we're seeing this pandemic come out through the world and creating us to have to really go inside and sit and reflect and think. And a lot of fears and inner demons, so to speak, have been coming out in a lot of ways, and the fear and old emotions that maybe our busyness has really kept us from looking at and feeling and, really going inward. And, and with that, our minds have been racing and for so long and not really sure what to do with that because our minds and our bodies are working so hard, and the minds racing oftentimes because the emotions underneath the surface are not being observed and not being honored. And so and with that, we stay so busy that we don't take time, and things like TV and alcohol and gambling and all of these things, these addictions, shopping, online internet shopping, and these things become a way of life because and eating, that's another big one. Just binge eating, because these become such a way of life because we are finding ways to stuff our emotions instead of really honoring them and thinking about them. And we've been taught that our emotions are to be feared and self-love is selfish. And, what is all this stuff? And we've been on this rat race for so long, ignoring our emotional experiences and stuffing it down with outer external forces. And then this idea of self-esteem, versus self-love. Like we might believe that we can do things, we can get that achievement, and, that builds our self-esteem, but we're not getting to the self-love that so many of us really crave. And so one thing about emotions is, they're not to be afraid, they're to be honored and loved, because it is in our human right to have emotions and to be validated for those emotions. It's about how we respond to those emotions that make a difference. So when we actually sit down with our emotions and listen to them, they actually stop. The intensity goes down, because emotions are like children, right? Children are in this world. They want to be seen, they want to be heard, they want to be validated and loved. Well, that's like our own emotional experiences. We need to come in and begin listening to what they really say. That little voice, maybe the fear that's coming up. Well, what is that fear about? What is that sadness about? You know, and stopping to really look and listen to your emotions. And so emotions, the really interesting thing about emotions is that, so one, they're just energy in motion. So they're just circuits of energy pulsating through our bodies and our beings. And so when we actually stop and feel them on a physical level and pay attention to them and inquire about them, they actually end up starting to dissipate, because they're only meant to last 90 seconds in our bodies. But what happens is that we tend to perpetuate those emotions, and we perpetuate them with the thoughts that we think. So we get mad because, oh, this means, I'm angry because this person cut me off, or, the world is, fill in the blank. And so we tend to make meaning, and our belief systems come up and they perpetuate those belief systems. But when we stop to think about what's really underneath the surface and the emotions that are driving that meaning and driving the belief, we can stop to take our power back from them, because we're not we haven't lost our power to our emotions. It feels like it, because our emotions feel like they're true, and they feel like they're running the show. But really, when you stop and get present to them and become mindful of what's happening under the surface, you have so much power back. You're empowered to make choices. You're empowered to feel that emotion. And on the other side is this light energy, because once you go through that, you have such a lightness, um, and so what you were mad about originally, in my experience, and I've seen this time and time again, it's hard and difficult to actually get back to the reason why you were mad, because that energy is not there anymore. And so it has been my experience that once you move that energy and feel that energy and honor that energy, honor your emotions, it dissipates. And so when we experience the world in a scary place, it's not about the outside world as being scary. It's about what's in here that is where's the fear coming from? Because what we see outside of the world is truly within. And so when we are experiencing fear and lack of, just as an example, the toilet paper, it's not about the toilet paper, it's about the fear of the lack, right? So there's this lack energy. But if you go into that lack and really honor that and say, okay, well, where is this where am I feeling not enough right now in my life, and you start to inquire within, you start to open up to that and see, well, okay, well, then maybe I don't feel like I'm enough in my relationships or my career, or I'm afraid that maybe there was that belief, that message, your parents, and I I'm just going to say that, like, our parents are people too, right? So our parents did the best they can, and when we step out of that victimization, blaming our parents for how something turned out in our life, we can take the power back and say, okay, they're human, and now I have to work on my own humanness just like they do. And so but they may have given you a message of um you know money doesn't fall or grow on trees, right? So you look at that, and sure, money doesn't grow on trees, but what is the underlying meaning? There's that fear that there's not an abundance when there really is. There's an abundance of things in the world. There's enough for everyone to go around, but we're not taught that because we've been living in such a fear society for so long. So looking at those emotions, and so what is coming up for you when this fear comes up, really go within and start to inquire, okay, well, so how strong is this emotion, and then where do you feel it in your body? Or notice what you feel in your body. If tuning into your body is new to you, really start to, maybe just scan your body from head to toe and just notice with your attention, is there anything coming up for you anywhere in your body? If there's any tension in that, just notice that, right? And so when you're starting to tune into your body, just focus on that. And where are you feeling that in your body? Do you notice anything, any tension anywhere? And just maybe take a deep a breath into that feeling. When you feel that as energy, and taking that thought away, you know so the thought is perpetuating the emotion. So just bring your attention to your body and breathe into that, and just allow that just to be, and just see what happens. It can be so subtle, but it can be so profound when you really start to get the hang of it and honor it. So, and just allow that process to be. And so, sometimes, those thoughts that come up, are, can be pretty critical. And so, you might have this thought of, I'm not doing this right, or this isn't, I don't know what I'm doing, um, or whatever the case may be for you. Just notice those thoughts, because we are our own worst critic, right? And so people are, we are, our we can be our own worst critic, worse than, like, anyone else um would ever say to us, right? So what one of my favorite questions to ask is, what would you say to a friend right now, if they were struggling with this situation, whether it's trying to get this right, or a situation in your life, right? So that you're maybe being hard on yourself for, just sit with that and just see, and, like, really truly sit in your heart space and ask yourself, what would I say to a friend right now? So the other thing about emotions is, um, it can be helpful to make them tangible. So when we see them as energy, and sometimes the emotion can be so big, it can be overwhelming for us. So as you're getting the hang of feeling what it is like in your body, and you're allowing that to come up, um, another practice you can do is just to make it tangible. So feel that emotion, whatever emotion comes up for you. Ask yourself, okay, so where do I feel this in my body? Um, how big is it? Does it have a shape? And as you get comfortable with this, you're just starting to tune into that energy. Does that emotion have a shape? Does it have a color? Does it have a sound or a texture? Like all of these senses, bring all of the senses in and see if you can make it as tangible as you can, because remember, it's just energy. And wherever that is happening in your body, that's where it's getting stored. So make that emotion tangible in your body. So I have this, just say, anxious feeling in my stomach. It's a triangle, color blue, and no sound, but it's like a rough texture. So then you have this tangible thing, and now it's a little easier to work with. So from that place, you would just imagine a light energy, maybe a healing energy coming in from the universe and making it as tangible as possible. So it might be this white light, and imagine it going through your head, going right into that space in your stomach, around and vibrating and resonating and moving all throughout that anxiety, that triangle anxiety in your stomach, and just allowing it to permeate and resonate, and just see what happens to that energy. So when you bring healing energy into a feeling, in my experience, it's been known to really just transform that energy, because energy can only be, we can't um, take away, we can't move energy, we can transmute energy. This is what I'm saying. We can transmute and allow it to transform. So with energy as emotion and emotion as energy, you can just move that energy and transform it. So those are a couple different things to try. And really, as you're going through this process, bringing in that place of self-compassion, and that self-compassion is that, that friend. What would you say to a friend right now? Because we tend to be more kind and compassionate to others than we do ourselves. But you are just as important as anybody else. And you are a shining bright light that is also ready to transform, because we really are all energy. And that energy is we're transforming ourselves. And this is the time, I'm thinking this, going within our homes, we're not only keeping each other safe from spreading the virus, but we're going within our homes to go within our souls, ourselves, our beings. Um, so with that, I just want to end with another little meditation. And so I'd like for you to imagine, just if you just close your eyes, I'd like to invite you to close your eyes for a moment and take a moment and just go within and focus on the area around your heart space. Just take a breath into your heart and imagine a tiny light shining and emanating from your heart space. And imagine that this light is just glowing, and it's becoming bigger and bigger, and it's surrounding now. It's just opening up to the space around your whole heart space. And imagine that it's just circulating through your heart, and this light is the light that you have within yourself, within your heart, within your soul, and it wants to emerge. Just imagine that this light is growing more and more, and this light through your heart is just moving through your whole being, and it's starting to spread up through your throat and your third eye, and all the way through your mind and your head, and then back around as it goes through your body, moving downward, down through your torso and down your legs and out your feet. And you might even imagine that this light goes through your feet and it connects with the heart energy of the earth. That heart energy, just imagine Mother Earth and her heart space and beating beautifully and so lovingly. And she just wants to give you all her love and support right now. Just imagine that light from Mother Earth's heart coming up through the light of your own heart and connecting. And then imagine that this light is surrounding you, and imagine that you have connecting the light energy from within you to without you, and imagine this light emanating outward to all of the beings on this planet, and just sending them love and your light and the light that comes from within you. And then imagine that light just being surrounding the whole planet. And as you do, just imagine healing energy moving through the earth. And then just, you might even imagine that light coming right back to you and allowing you to receive that love and that light and that healing energy from all the world. And so take that energy with you through the remainder of your day and continue to practice that exercise and honor your own emotions and honor yourself in this space, because you are love and you deserve to be honored, and you deserve to honor yourself, because as you honor yourself, you can really truly open up to honor others and the world, and we can heal one person at a time. Peace and love.